sometimes through your physical format, you assign things to yourself. Like you say, I'm really good at dancing, but I'm not really good at conversation. And we say, well, then you open the floodgates for more impulsive dancing, but you close them relative to thought during conversation. You see what we're getting at? You could open all of it. You could say, I'm good at everything I do. I'm good at all of it. Ideas flow to me. Impulses flow to me. I'm in the flow of things. My source energy knows everything that I've asked for and is feeding it to me in real time all the time. And I'm happy and open and receiving and satisfied. There's so much in the pipeline at various stages of evolution and various stages of readiness to explode into your awareness. And so, what is a true manifestation? Isn't a manifestation when something comes into your conscious reality? So when you are consciously aware of something, isn't that a now manifestation? Isn't that a wonderful thing? That's the way we look at it, because we're flowing to you all the time. And when you receive the idea, and you've got the idea while we've got the idea, that's when that feeling of euphoria, or that's when that feeling of passion comes about, because we're on exactly the same wavelength. We're talking exactly the same language. What you know and what we know is happening in the same moment. And that's what you want. That's what you want. The subjects are irrelevant. That's what you want. And you can make your life as rich as the questions that you ask. Every moment could be alive and full for you, because every moment you could be completely intertwined with that broader non-physical part of you who is enjoying all of the aspects of whatever you are about. We say from time to time, in fact, we say it quite often, that you can't go back. And so we know that when you taste a period of time, when you allow yourself to be in alignment, that you allow a momentum to happen that gets feeling so good that feeling less than that good just doesn't feel that good. But you can help all of those moments by doing what we've called pre-paving, by anticipating in advance, or by acknowledging. And here's a piece. This is what we would do if we were in your physical shoes. We would acknowledge that everything that we desire, which means everything that we are becoming. Think about that. All of your desires that you wish to manifest is just another way of saying all that I am becoming. So all that you are becoming, all that you are in the process of becoming, you want to be as conscious of that becoming as possible, which means you want to be as present in the moment, which means you want to be as open to the receiving of the energy in that moment as possible. You just got to lighten up. Just be less self-aware. Be less self-condemning. Be less aware of dilemma. Be easier about it. Be more trusting that the universe has it. Be more trusting in what's going on in the vortex. Be more accepting of what's going on in the vortex. And meanwhile, just enjoy the quieting of your mind. We know you can't quiet your mind all day, every day, but if you're accomplishing that for a few minutes every day, then that's enough. And it just gets better and better and better and better. Now, what we want you to understand is the more you talk about those things that are working, the more the abundance that you've already asked about will work too. This is what we mean when we say you got 10 topics, 9 of them are just the way you want them, 1 of them isn't. Most people spend all their time asking the question about that one, and they hold that one in suspended animation. Focus on anything where energy is flowing, and then energy flows to everything, even the abundance. But if you focus upon the topic where the energy isn't flowing as much as you want, then you slow the energy down. We'll just say it to you straight up, as loudly and as clearly and as directly as we can. You cannot abandon a desire. When you increase your attention to a subject, when you're still more in the problem end of it than in the solution end of it, increasing it slows it way, 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 way down. And attention to it isn't abandoning it, it's crippling it. So the answer is you got to be sure that you're in the receiving mode, and then in the receiving mode you increase it. Don't goose it up until you're sure which end of the stick you're on. This conversation has been a really good one. You moved to a place you haven't been before. you now are more willing to put some separation between the asking for something and the watching out for it and the just letting it be. Separation, we're talking about give it a rest. Source is on it. You've done the work. It's in the vortex. Law of attraction is after it. It's queued up for you. And when you're ready, which you will be when you give it a rest, when you're ready, which you will be when you give it a rest, when you're ready, when you have really given it a rest, you will be when you're no longer talking about it. You'll be ready when you've given it a rest. You'll receive an idea, and the idea will be so intoxicatingly beautiful that nothing would be able to keep you from moving in the direction of that idea. And until that happens, give it a rest. This is such a good conversation. So the difference between the problem end of the stick and the solution end of the stick, or the something missing end of the stick and something being present end of the stick. You got to put separation, time separation between you being vibrationally active in the question and you seeking the vibrational answer. In other words, you got to put separation in that. So everybody sort of gets that if you're hammering away at the question, then the solution cannot come. So there are some aspects of your life where the solutions are abundant. And you said to us, I like thinking back on those situations where the solutions are already evident, where the solutions are already abundant, because I like to own that vibration. And we say, yes, do that on the subjects that don't activate any discord, because once you're already connected to source about something and you're already receiving, then anything that you add to that is just going to increase the momentum, and you're just going to have more and more and more and more fun on the subject. But if it's a subject where you haven't made that jump yet, and you attempt to increase the momentum of it, all it does is compound the question and make you more resistant to the answer. Can you hear that? Because the human part of you feels like if you just get in there and go after it in a sort of determined way. But this vibrational world is a different world than the action world. The action world is about sort of brute force, and the stronger you are and the bigger you are and the more there are of you, the more you can move stuff around. But in a vibrational world, it's not like that. In a vibrational world, it's subtle and fine-tuning. It's tuning. It's not going hard after things. It's tuning. What can be hard about this answer? Abraham, I have this thing that I've wanted for a while and it isn't coming. What should I do? Leave it alone. Well, I know I should leave it alone, but I've got this thing. I've wanted it for such a long time. What should I do? How can I make it come to me? Just leave it alone. Are you sure I should leave it alone? Because it feels like I should be hard after it. Well, you should leave it alone because your vortex has got hold of it and your inner being has got hold of it and it's working on your behalf. It's been moved to the universe's side of the placemat. It's been moved to the universe's side of the placemat. So now you can let go of it. And if you keep putting it on your side of the placemat, then you're going to keep doing a crappy job of it instead of letting the universe do a divine job of it. Just trying to get your attention. That's it. Trying too hard is a human tendency because you've been, bless your hearts, you've been working so hard with your action. You've been offering so much action to compensate for energy that you didn't quite get figured out, you see. And so just know that anything that feels like a struggle, leave it alone because you're getting nowhere with it. If you're struggling over it, you're making the struggle more. Leave it alone. If it feels like a struggle, it feels like a struggle for a reason. You're barking up the wrong tree. You're working on the wrong side of the placemat. You just got to let it go. You just got to let it go. You got to say things to yourself like, well, that's it for me on that for now. I'm not going to think about that because I'm not making any progress. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to let the universe work on it. And I'm going to focus on the things that make me feel good and on the things that make me feel powerful. And I'm going to tune in as often as I can. And I do that often. And I'm just going to let the good times roll, and I'm just going to follow my bliss, and I'm just going to follow the feeling. And when I get an impulse about that, if I do, and I'm sure I will eventually, then I'll follow that impulse. And until then, I'm just going to follow the other impulses. So when an idea flows, seems like a good idea, yeah? Follow those ideas. When we were teasing with you in the beginning about how we wouldn't look back, you can if you want to, but we wouldn't look back. We don't look back because there is so much that is delicious to focus upon between where you are and where you're going. And so that's what has our undivided attention. And so anything prior to now is irrelevant, because in this now, there are only two things that matter. What you're asking for, which is what you're summoning, and what you're doing in relationship to it. The more head-on you hit things, then the more you dig into where you are. The lighter you are about a subject, then the more you're called in the direction of what you want. And so the more time you spend, or the more intent you have for doing what we call pre-paving, which is anticipating energy flowing in advance. Begin again. In any moment in time, what most humans are focused upon are the manifestations that have already happened. In other words, once you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, it's manifested. And so the things that you're looking at that are manifested have less potential to really please you than the things that are still in the process of becoming. So as you've been enjoying, you've been feeling all light and bright and exhilarated, it's because you are in an arena where things are becoming. We are together taking thought where it has not been before. And so this is that new place where new thoughts are coming into the foreground, where you can focus your consciousness on them and feel the satisfaction of what your inner being knows and what you know being met together. There is so much that is potential to be discovered, and your inner being is queued up and ready for the discovery of it. And when you are queued up and ready for the discovery of it, and the discovery happens, in that moment you feel that elation or that euphoria or that new motion forward. Well, technically, every moment of your life can be like that, because your inner being knows what's in your vortex and already understands. Your inner being has been able to do much more segment intending about the things that are coming. So the more you are, maybe just in general terms, positively anticipating the next moment and the next moment, then the less mundane and the more really satisfying your moments will be. Something that helps is to acknowledge how satisfied you feel. When you say it's mundane, that sounds like dissatisfaction. When you acknowledge that you are satisfied, that takes that vibration that is about mundane away, and it leaves you open for new discovery. There is so much newness in the thought. Humans just want the newness to be about the manifestations, but there is so much newness along the way that is so satisfying in nature. And then the manifestation, of course, is satisfying too, but it's not the only game in town. There are many along the way. Is that helpful? There's so much satisfaction along the way that just keeps your juices going and keeps you realizing that you are the creator of important things. So often you want an experience in order to promote feeling good, when what we want is for you to understand that those good feeling experiences are evidence that you already do feel good. You feel the difference? I need to do this so that I can feel good, or I do feel good, and then this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens. It's really an important thing to get clear in your mind. It's a good thing when you're in joyful moments to acknowledge that you are, and focus upon them, and practice the vibration of them, practice the feeling of them. It's what we call milking it for more. It's like accomplishing a more substantial vibration of it. And there certainly isn't anything wrong with revisiting that to reinforce that substantial vibration of well-being. Anything that causes you to reinforce your awareness of wonderful things is always to your advantage. You've got it. You've got it. There is great love here for you.